live streams, and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well. Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16.
Business was to approve the February 16, 2002 meeting minutes, and looking around the room, we don't have a quorum in order to do that, so we'll have to table that until next meeting if everybody's in agreement to that.
You have another month to finish them.
Yeah, we got some time. So it's good for me to review the minutes. I hadn't seen that until now, so it pertains really to our next item, next two items that are on the agenda, which is the update on the Park & Cass Street surveys. And based on the reading of the minutes, I got a sense of what took place. We had a resident of the proposed neighborhood heritage area come to speak to you all, and shared his insights and observations based on what he was aware of at the time, and there was some dialogue and discussion which led to a proposal to send out a letter to the residents of the area with a survey question. Maura shared that with me, and I hadn't had a chance to kind of weigh in on either language and presentation, but I roughed out what it would need to look like, and I was going to work with Barb, which I will need to contact her with some of these ideas. The first being is that it would be a 8.5 by 11 regular sheet of paper fitting into a regular business size envelope with a survey question, which was 2 responses: in favor of, with the proposed language, or opposed to in terms of the language. And then an indication of where the responder lived, street name. Is that right? So I'd have to work out something like this front to back, whether it's in, I don't know what the particular dimensions, but it would be a cardstock, which would fit in the envelope, and it would be postage. We would have postage already included on it. So I will work forward with that. I had some suggestions to the letter just in terms of layout. My suggestions don't change the language of the proposed regulation, but I thought I had a different way of maybe presenting it to the public. It sounds like, in a way, from what the visitor at the last meeting shared, there's still some questions out there of what it is, and there may be some confusion on what we're attempting to do. And I thought by maybe bringing some language up and simplifying it at the top of the letter and keeping the proposed language at the bottom as a reference material may avoid some, or may improve the clarity. But I also had a question about one of the statements in the letter that was shared from the last meeting. The NHA's aim is to prevent demolition of existing homes and outbuildings in order to preserve the historic feel of the neighborhood. Do we want to, historic feel, or that seems to have sort of have weight to it. Like, it's not a historic district, it's a heritage area. Does that change anything? Does that create any further confusion? Do we want to steer away from that? We do steer the receiving public to our web page and for more information. But
That sentence is in there now?
yeah, so it's currently in there. So that just sort of jumped out at me. It's like, do we want to say preserve the historic feel of the neighborhood? So that was just one question I wanted to bring, but then also, I mean, I could circulate and share how I organized the letter a little bit differently, and then also included a date when we expect them to return the card. I'm guessing by our next meeting, which would be the 20th, if they returned it by the 15th of April, put it in the mail by then, we'd have our answers. And I also included a statement of what's the next step. So it was unclear as to what the next step would be in the current letter. A majority response in favor would move the proposal forward to the Exeter Planning Board for review and opinion. I mean, I just...
That was the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point, but that's silent in the original letter. So nobody would know what the next step is. So if it gets opposed, it doesn't, we're not moving it forward, right? I mean, I think that's how we talked about it before.
Right.
It also says about, I mean, in the original letter, the last statement says, the enclosed card indicate whether you are in favor of having your property included in this area. That's confusing, because the question is, are you in?
That's not the question anymore.
That's not the question anymore, but that's the survey question is different.
Yeah.
It says, am I in favor of a neighborhood heritage area with the proposed guidelines? That's pretty clear, and
Yes.
I like that. But in the letter, it says something different, like the last question.
It says, would you take
are
a
you in
moment to
favor?
return the enclosed card and indicate whether you are in favor of having your property included in this heritage area? Yeah, that's, yeah.
So I wanted to bring that to the discussion as to, do we need to tweak some of the language so there isn't any confusion? Our purpose is clear. We have a deadline when we want a response. We let them know what this actually means. If they're in favor, we move it forward to the planning board. If it doesn't state it, but if it's not approved, then it's not moving forward. I mean, I think that's where we're at.
I think we should tweak this last sentence, and I think we should say, would you please take a moment to return the enclosed card and indicate your preferences or something?
Yes.
So I mean, that's, I don't have a ability to copy this or share, but I can circulate what I'm proposing, or I can email you all something to those lines, but you can compare what I'm suggesting.
I think that's a good, one suggestion that I'd go along with too. The sentences before that you were questioning, can you read that again about the historic?
Yeah, so as the original letter states, the second sentence says, well, I'll read the first sentence. So, dear neighborhood resident, the Heritage Commission of the Town of Exeter is developing a proposal to establish a neighborhood heritage area that would include your property. I think that's a good statement. The NHA's aim is to prevent demolition of existing homes and outbuildings in order to preserve the historic feel of the neighborhood. I think is.
I like historic, but maybe say something like historic, and maybe Pam's got a better word, and communal nature of the neighborhood. Just
The historic feel of the neighborhood. I like that.
I was just softening with another word, but I think I'd have something in there like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not saying it's a historic district, it's just it's
the historic quality of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, the word quality is a good one. I mean, feel is a little bit soft. Quality is a little stronger word. Historic, with knowing that we've presented to the public a couple of times, we've had others come to visit the meetings and voice, there always just seems to be an undercurrent of confusion of what it is are you trying to do. Nobody wants it to be a historic district. And that's one reaction everybody gets is like, I don't want a historic district. And so it jumped out at me when it's, historic versus something
It's been
different.
confusing for a lot of people.
It's day one.
Yeah, so,
And the historic is lowercase h, right?
yeah. I mean, we're stating that it's a neighborhood heritage area. We have a webpage with lots of information. We have had 2 public forums, and we've shared as much as I think we can clearly around the idea.
Yeah. Do you have historic feeling there? Or?
It says historic feel of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Quality kind of pertains to something a little stronger, but
Historic atmosphere, that's pretty, that's too vague.
You said historic feeling, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that works.
so we'll keep that as is. So really, my additions or not say additions, but my input to the letter is one, structural. So I just kind of moved some language up early in the page, simplified it with some spacing to pop some sentences, and then I made more clear what the letter's objective was, because we want this back from them, from the residents, the recipients of this, with a deadline, just not hanging out there. So it needs a deadline, and I removed that sentence at the bottom of the original that created some, it did not match up with the language of the survey.
Right.
So it threw a curve into the message. Again, if you've had a chance to review it, I'll share that also with Maura and Julie via email, just to say that we've discussed it, so that we can move forward with it in a sooner rather than later fashion. But I appreciate, I felt bad having missed the meeting last week. I knew it was an important one, and I appreciate that you all were able to talk about it and get this moving forward.
We have a guest. I'm not sure if you're here for that part of the...
Yes, I live in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just
Do you have
being on top of
a
it.
comment on this, or just listen?
I've really mentioned everything, all of my
Well,
concerns in the past.
2 times.
Yeah, and I was on the committee originally, so I've kind of been in on
Okay.
it since
I didn't know if you had
I
another
heard about it.
Burning ideas.
But yeah, we didn't really go around the room and
I'm sure there are plenty of people who have some
recognize
ideas.
ourselves.
But, yeah.
Knowing we have the public viewing as well.
You think it's a good idea,
Should have done that.
this kind of thing, to poll them?
I think it's great to poll them. Yeah, I think that the survey that was done before didn't really cover everyone, and it wasn't taken as formally as this will.
Good.
So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, well, do we need to do any action, or we just go ahead by consent?
I think just go ahead,
Yeah.
show that to
Let's get it done.
Laura and
Yeah.
Julie and Barbara. Now, we do have enough money for this.
Well, that was, my sticky notes tell me of my questions that I had, and that's where, in terms of a budget, I'm not sure what we have in terms of a budget. I know there was interest in a donation toward the actual survey itself. And Moore's our
Julie
treasurer.
Julie knows the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I do have to review is the address list and make sure that we're covering everybody. And I was aware of at least one person that left off the original mailing, so I want to make sure that we're able to check through that.
And since the last time we sent something out, I'm sure the list has been...
It could have changed, yeah. All right, so we're making headway on that.
Okay.
And it doesn't sound like we really need any more discussion or action around it, other than we'll share with Maura and Julie.
Do you think April 15th is time enough to get this
Yeah,
thing?
that's my
Good question. just put that out there as a date. Our next meeting is April 20th, so that Friday before our meeting is the 15th, which is why I chose that. I think Easter's on the 17th.
It is.
Yeah.
The sentence that says, I would think that people would just do it and put it in the mail as soon as they got the letter.
Well, that's ideal, yes.
Well, that's why you don't want to give them too much time. If they have, I don't have to get this into the end of the month, and it'll get lost in the kitchen counter or something.
Well, considering the way the mail is going right now, I mean, we only get delivered 3 times a week. Wow. It seems like.
I got a 10% off coupon that had already been expired.
But I gotta say, my time, I'm struggling to carve out time to do some of this work, so for me to get to the town hall, work with Barb, if I can do it next week.
I guess that's
and
what
get it out.
If you can get it out, fine. If you held up, we'll just have to move it to May.
Bump
If
it
you
out.
find it's not going to go out till the 12th, then don't.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But if you can get it out by April 1st, I guess, you can't, that's plenty of time.
Yeah, all
Would you
right.
like me to stop by? I mean, I walk by here just about every day.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess,
If you want to change it.
well, I do have some questions for Barb, just in terms of how
Okay, then
to
you need to do it then.
layout questions and copy questions,
Okay, so-
card stocks, sort of that kind of
You
thing.
need to talk to her.
So I do have some thoughts on that, but if I can get those questions answered, and if I can
Okay.
hand the football off to you,
Fine.
then I will do that and let you run with it. All right, so is there anything else with that agenda item with Park and Cat Street neighborhood heritage area? All right. So the certified local government grant discussion, and this is a carryover from last month's agenda. Sounds like there was a fair amount of headway on that, and there's a deadline of the 20th. Is that the 20th of this month? It wasn't clear in the minutes. Or was that the 20th of February?
I think it was February.
Yes, I do too.
That, for the initial,
Because Julie was pushing, we needed to decide that night, our February night, so she could get it in. And I guess it's all, whether she did or not, I'm sure she did.
Okay.
She's good at things like that.
All right. So there's nothing left unfinished for today. All right. Any updates from the planning commission? We got John here. Any updates for us
Well,
on?
this one thing, and I don't know whether you're covering this under the demolition review, is that we're going to talk about 50 Newfield?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to need to organize ourselves for that, and I was just going to hold off on.
Some of you are probably familiar with the site,
Yeah.
and that's the map, and this long building in the middle is what, and apparently this used to be a dry cleaning business.
On Newfields Road?
Yeah, exactly. So we all sit scratching our heads. And they want to take the home down here, and they take this building down, make 3 condos, and there'll be 3 plus 1 condo. Now, I talked to David today, Sharples, because this went back and forth a little. We were concerned if it truly was the plant where they did dry cleaning, that there may be some soil contamination, so we made them do a pretty thorough exam, and that was fine. But one of the things that bothered me is David's notes from February. The applicant is seeking approval for a multifamily site plan review for the proposed conversion of the structure located at 50 Newfields Road into 4 residential community condominium units. So the words they used were conversion of the structure, and then I got this thing to tear it down, and we never actually talked about that. Not that it shouldn't be turned down, but I just thought that was strange. The other thing that's happened is I guess, and I don't know why you wouldn't have done this before, as part of your due diligence, I guess the foundation that they were gonna rebuild on is no good. So I'm not sure, what's gonna happen. I don't know whether, I've already been out there. I'm out there with the planning board, so I don't need to see it again, but I don't know whether until a few other things get ironed out, and if they're gonna tear the whole building down and not use that foundation, they may end up turning it or doing it completely different. But if you want to go look at it, I suppose you can do that.
Where is you?
I was
That's 50.
concerned which building it was, because it's.
Yeah, there's an older home here, and then there's an outbuilding over here. But the main one there, and that one, now.
It's single
They tried,
story, right?
yeah, they tried to tell us it was, it was a, retail place for, and I said, that doesn't even make sense. There's no retail on Millfields Road, I don't believe, that was probably where they did the dry cleaning, the actual, I don't know what you call it, it's not a shop, but the warehouse, whatever.
But the store would be in town.
Yeah, I think so, but no one seemed to know anything about this. Come on, Ben.
I've
You've been
never
good so
even
far,
heard
you
of
told me
it.
where
I've
the
never
bridge
heard of
was.
it. And I'm trying to figure out where 50 Newfields Road would be.
Not too far up, it's on the left.
Well, that's not too
There used to
helpful
be
either.
a
So could
church.
you locate it next to
There was
like...
a church in there.
Oh, yeah, I think someone online did hear that
Oh,
they used it as a church, yeah.
The church, okay, that was a... And then Exeter Players had it for a while. If it's the same one, I don't... Okay.
How old a building is it, John? Do you know?
I don't know. They said all that, and I'm not
It's
sure.
gotta be over
I'm not sure, yeah, well, I think this goes back, at least the dry cleaning business was there in the 50s, so, yeah. But the person that bought it, I think they probably might have done a little more due diligence before they bought it, but in either case, I think the sale has gone through, so I don't think it's a conditional thing. In either case, he may be coming back to us with something different on the planning board level, but you probably should still make a decision, I guess.
I guess we should go out and look at it.
Yeah, I think
We have to.
what it's our objective at this point.
I don't think it has any historical value unless you're a retired dry cleaning person.
I'm really strapped for time, and I don't know if anybody can contact the owners and organize a review committee. I don't have the time to do it.
I'd be happy to do it if you want me to do it.
If that's something you can do.
If you set something up, I'll try and make it, Jim.
Okay, we only need 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
well,
right.
Okay, my schedule is pretty tight too, but give me some times and I'll...
Yeah, my work schedule has changed, so I don't have the same flexibility as I used to. Thank you for that, John. Doing that investigative work.
it doesn't sound like it's a toughie.
No,
As opposed to
it's not like,
the Paul Revere's house.
Baptist church.
You're looking at next
Or
week?
the church, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, looking at next week.
I'm open the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. That's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I'll throw that out there.
Wednesday is best, Thursday and Fridays in the morning for me.
Let's see. Thursday I'm good. And Friday I'm good.
What's your preference? I can do either one. Morning.
Do Thursdays.
Thursday?
Yeah, Friday I have to be at the library by 11 for taxes. This is tax season, so I'm busy.
So Thursday, the 24th.
Yep,
That'd be great.
You want to say, what time?
Morning,
9 o'clock?
I do have a 12 to 1, but that's,
We'll do 9 o'clock?
I think it'd be great
okay.
if you can arrange it. And I'm not sure, well, I guess somebody's got to let us in.
and they may say, why don't you wait, right? When you call them, the owner might
Well, we did the last one without the owner being there.
Yeah,
Right.
we've been known to do that.
And they don't have to be there, and
No,
we
they
don't.
don't.
And we don't need to get inside.
Not really.
That's true.
No.
Right.
Well,
Okay, we'll go for the 24th, which is Thursday at 9 a.m.
okay.
And
That'd be great, John.
I'll make the call tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow afternoon.
Good.
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, in terms of demolition, I mean, it says the accessory building to be demolished.
But John, it's the house and the...
Not the house.
Not the house.
The house is gonna be one of the condo units.
Okay, so it's just
And then
the...
they're gonna make 3 condo units on that foundation. So, there's my picture.
Boy, the whole town is going to be condo units.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, just, the application's highlighted for the accessory building.
Take a look at that, John. Now we gonna look at that, you can see the,
Yeah,
they've got that building cut into 3, and again, the foundation they found out is no good, so. He was gonna put in a new foundation, he may run, reconfigure things a little bit, but I guess either way,
That's the house
is
that's
coming
coming
down.
down. I don't know what's going on.
that accessory
This is the
building,
building. Building over there.
There's like a garage or something, I think that's gonna stay, and there's the dumpster pad, and some parking spots, new leach field. Did you see right on it, unit 1 is the house, and 2, 3, 4.
Right.
But that condo will be that house will be a condo as well.
What's off to the left there?
That might be the accessory building.
No, they call it the bigger building, accessory building. And there's a dumpster pad and limited common space for unit 1.
Gotcha. All right, 3
There's parking spaces called, they're considered limited
Yeah,
common.
I know the site.
You used to bring your laundry there, right? You used to bring your dry cleaner there.
You bet.
The other one.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for taking the lead on that, John, appreciate that. Any news from the historic district?
Well, we have a meeting tomorrow. They are taking down that 8 Gilman Lane house. And putting in academy housing for teachers.
Yeah, I would hate to lose the building. I think what they build will look good.
But they're taking down the lovely old house and putting in,
But yeah, the fact is, the lovely old houses, it's so lovely inside. The other one, the last night, the ZBA took up the church next door to you.
yes, that's going ahead also.
And that, they proved the fact that it be residential, in a multifamily, in a residential, but they hung up on the parking. And they have to come back with a plan because they want to put 24 cars out on the street,
That's exactly.
which would affect you guys when we have meetings. Because you'd have, the people who live there would be parked there.
Well, I don't see how they can build any kind of condos without parking.
No, well, they can, but that's what they're still pushing. But the ZBA said, wait a minute, we need a better idea of what you're gonna do. Well, what are you gonna do in the winter? For 4 months?
I
you know,
have
where you're-
absolutely no idea what they're going to do.
And as one member said, I can't, like, what he said, there is parking spots in, like, the municipal lot. There's about 8 or 10 spots where you can park overnight in the snow.
They're always taken.
They are. And he said, anyway, that he didn't see what the hell anybody would do walking from there in the night, in the middle of winter with a snowstorm going on.
Are the parking spaces limited?
Yeah, well, the municipal lot, there are some overnight parking spots you can use. There's about 6 or 8 of them there.
It's the one, it's
They're over.
Yeah,
I
back
know.
if you go in off, come down Court Street and turn to your left in the back that's the ones up against the tree line. And
There's a couple in the Center Street lot too.
The,
Not enough.
the small condo building they built, right next door, right next door, that way. Yeah, in the back, that was their argument too, all those parking spaces right there. Now, they put a few in the front, there's very narrow spots, I voted against it. But when that came to planning board, and it was like, everything was a compromise to get the 9 units in. And they said, well, we got spots open.
Do they have spots in front of their building?
They are, but of course, they wanted variances to the width. You know, you can't, in most spots, you can't get your door open anyway, and they wanted it narrower by a foot or something, if I recall.
Did they still have a variance from the number that they needed? I don't know how many condos are in there,
I
but
think there's 9 units in there.
9?
Yeah.
That'd be 20 units.
And then, yeah, there's variance and everything. There's lucky there's one spot there. And then there's an empty lot, not next to Sea Dogs, but in between, then what's the Italian restaurant, and then
Yeah.
the empty lot. They came in with the same thing, no parking. And they, never mind, they didn't even have an architect yet, they just had a sketch. This is what we're built, can you approve it? And, no plan for that. And, someday there may be meters at the parking lot.
Well,
Then what happens?
that's,
You buy a
what's
spot.
his face downtown. Evidently, he hadn't, I heard, that because I went down and questioned that too, in relation to this church parking.
Right.
I just can't see that the town needs to absorb 24 people in public parking because they want to make some money to
Right.
do the church.
Right.
So I asked, and evidently, who's the builder downtown that's so well known?
Chinburg? Chinburg?
Yeah, no, not
He doesn't
Chinburg.
build downtown.
Anyway,
He's got the mill.
he has another place that they can go in winter to park, I guess, and they persuaded them that was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I have no idea where the people that live in the Baptist church are going to park.
Well-
They cannot park in our driveway. And we've got that out.
But they're all, they're already,
Yeah.
there's apartments upstairs and all the buildings downtown, right?
Yeah.
That's where they park, is on the street.
Well, the other thing I learned
And
is
it's
that
retail space.
there's no more 2-hour parking. You will not be tagged, because you remember good old Neil Jones used to go around and march on tires with the chalk, the yellow chalk? Somebody challenged that, and that's, I don't know, an affront to, I don't know, First Amendment or Second Amendment or someplace, it's something. And they won a court battle that said you can't do that. So there's no way to tell if a car's been there 20 minutes or 2 hours or two overnight.
Well, I used to run out every 2 hours and just drive back and forth for 2 inches so the yellow wouldn't show. So
anyway,
every
they
other
can-
people did that too.
They can park on it.
That's why they do this.
Anyway, that's a side we could probably tie up.
Yeah.
We don't mean
Yeah,
to drag
it's-
it.
and the whole parking issue is nothing that's on our plate anyway, right?
No.
It's not, we have any,
Okay, so
Sounds like-
you will call on Newfields Road and you will go up and talk to Barbara, or you will call Barbara.
Yeah, I mean, I'll work with Barb, and we'll get some action done on that.
Okay.
Okay,
Is there anything else that you need to discuss that was not on the agenda?
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Well, thank you for
Motion
coming
carried.
again.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra